Good morning, everyone, and I see our Turkish colleagues, so hoş geldiniz, iyi günler. Welcome to this press conference about EU-Turkey special report, which will be presented to you by High Representative Josep Borrell and Commissioner for Enlargement and Neighbourhood Oliver Varhelyi, and then we will take your questions. High Representative, you can start.
Thank you. Thank you. We are here today to present the joint communication on the state of play of our political, economic and trade relations with Turkey that the College has just adopted right now. With this report, I, as High Representative, and the Commission will answer the request by the European Council, the European Union leaders, that requested us to map out where we are in our relations with Turkey and suggest how we want to shape it in a strategic and looking forward manner. For us, Turkey is a very important partner, and this first assessment was already done in 2021, in the spring 2021, when we were in a turbulent period in our relations. And it's clear that there have been difficulties in the past, such as the dynamics in the Eastern Mediterranean, bilateral relations with some of our member states, and trade irritants. But we have seen a more constructive attitude on these points, although there are still open issues which we need to address together, and certainly this includes in a relevant position the Cyprus issue. We are living in an increasingly complex and challenging geopolitical context, and the need for the European Union to strengthen its security has a profound impact on our EU-Turkey relations. I think that we are interested in developing a mutually beneficial partnership with Turkey, an important neighbour, as I said, a key partner, and don't forget it, a European Union candidate country. Although the accession track with Turkey remains at a standstill, this report has nothing to do with that. It's about the broad approach to Turkey apart from its candidacy. Against this background, and faced with the need to pursue our interests more effectively, the European Union needs to consider which are the next steps in the European Union-Turkey relations. In this context, we have identified a number of possible options towards engagement with Turkey in a phased, proportionated and reversible manner. Phased, proportionated and reversible manner. These steps are subject to the established conditionalities already set out by the European Council in June and March 2021. Our report makes also clear the two-track approach suggested by March 2021 communication that was welcomed by the European Union leaders, and it still remains valid. We reaffirm our determination to use the instruments at our disposal to defend the interests of the European Union and our member states, as well as to uphold regional stability. Ensuring a stable and secure environment in the Eastern Mediterranean, this is a strategic goal of the European Union. Engaging with Turkey, most notably on the Cyprus issue, but also given the importance of good neighbourhood relations with Greece, is of essence. Wider regional issues in the Eastern Mediterranean are also calling for a closer European Union engagement with Turkey and other regional partners for the much-needed work to turn the dynamics from conflict to cooperation. In the context of the Russia war of aggression against Ukraine, Turkey's role in the Black Sea as a NATO ally is also key. Implementation of the European Union sanctions against Russia and actively combating efforts of circumvention is also of paramount importance in this context. The proposals on this report suggest continuing and taking more steps towards engaging with Turkey in areas of mutual interest such as trade, investment, migration, connectivity, green and digital transition, energy, to name just a few, and also about visa facilitation. We suggest to resume the high-level dialogues and the Association Council that was suspended in 2019. It means 4 years ago. But at the same time, we are clear with our expectations, maintain the calm in the Eastern Mediterranean, and improve its prosperity. For that, we also suggest making first steps towards the launching of negotiations with Turkey on the modernization of customs union. Again, we are clear that what we expect from Turkey to do for this happens, namely addressing trade irritants, to cooperate with us on preventing circumvention of sanctions against Russia, and creating a climate conducive to the resumption of Cyprus settlement talks. And finally, the dialogue on the rule of law and fundamental rights will remain an integral part of the European Union-Turkey relationship, and we see that there is room for improvement. To summarize, the European Union clearly has a strategic interest to develop a mutually beneficial relationship with Turkey and maintain a stable and secure environment in the Eastern Mediterranean. And this joint communication from the High Representative and the Commission responds to this objective. It's now for the European leaders to give further guidance on how we take forward our engagement with Turkey. Thank you.
I want to continue where the High Representative has just finished, and that is that we need all efforts, and we propose all efforts to be taken to bridge the key differences between Ankara and our point of view. We might not see eye to eye everywhere, each other, but certainly there's more that unites us than what divides us. So we must focus on cooperation where it is feasible and where it is mutually beneficial. Turkey continues to be a candidate country, a key partner of the European Union. You have seen our report on that just a couple of weeks ago. Turkey is a major NATO ally and also a strategic partner in a very uneasy neighborhood and region. And we have ever closer people-to-people contacts with millions of tourists, students, business people in both directions, and our economies are almost fully integrated by now with one another. So we think that there's huge potential in taking the next steps, but of course we need also a constructive attitude from Turkey to really reciprocate the proposals that we're making. So we are proposing a number of actions to energize the key areas of our cooperation, as it was already mentioned by the High Representative, in a progressive, proportionate and reversible manner. and of course in line with all the established conditions and guidelines by the European Council. So let me walk you through on the key recommendations. First, about intensifying high-level engagement. For instance, we are proposing to restart the high-level dialogues on economy, energy and transport, under the conditions that, of course, Turkey needs to refrain from all illegal drilling activities in the Eastern Mediterranean, and that it continues to respect the sovereignty and sovereign rights of our member states. It is also suggested to resume the work of the Association Council and the high-level political dialogues at all ministerial levels, and to set up a new high-level dialogue on trade. These contacts, we're sure, will help to deepen the mutual understanding and should also contribute to resolving existing issues and deepen the cooperation. Second, we are proposing to energize the cooperation on trade and connectivity. For example, we recommend resuming discussions on the draft negotiating framework for the modernization of the EU-Turkey customs union, while we should also be working in parallel on the trade irritants, also mentioned by the High Representative, and also that Turkey should address any circumvention of our restrictive measures against Russia. As you know, Turkey is our 7th largest trading partner, and we are the first for Turkey. This is why bilateral trade has grown more than fourfold, and you see that we are surpassing this year 200 billion euros of trade. This is an all-time record. So our recommendation is to open the door for even closer economic and trade relations. Third, as a matter of priority, we are proposing also to explore with the member states to facilitate access to visa applications and to facilitate the people-to-people contact, in particular for business people and students. This should include issuing multiply entry visas with longer-term validities. Fourth, we are suggesting to boost the public and private investment in Turkey, in particular through the new Turkey investment platform in key areas of mutual interest, such as connectivity, digital, green energy and transition, transport connections, together with European and international financial institutions. We seek to leverage to create investments of the value of 2 billion euros with our budget guarantees of 317 million euros. And on this occasion, we also invite the European Investment Bank to resume its operations across all sectors in Turkey. And fifth, on migration, we also suggest a more effective and mutually beneficial implementation of the EU-Turkey statement from 2016. And to this end, we are proposing to intensify our efforts to stem irregular migration, prevent departures, strengthen border control and crack down on the criminal smuggling and organized crime groups, resume readmissions from the Greek islands, address the migration situation in Cyprus, and prevent irregular departures en routes to the EU. We would also like to see the stepping up of resettlement from Turkey to the EU. And we would also want to support the safe, dignified and voluntary returns to the countries of origin in close cooperation with the IOM and the UNHCR if this is requested by Turkey. In this regard, as you know, the Commission have proposed a new strategic assistance package of 4 billion euros for 2024 to 2027 as part of the MFF midterm review, meaning that we would like to continue on the basis of our current arrangements. We see that the current process of re-engagement is already yielding results, for example, in the trade irritants area. So we think that it is essential both for the EU and Turkey to pursue this agenda in good faith and in a cooperative and mutually beneficial manner. So we look forward to the strategic guidance to be issued by our leaders, and we are convinced that with this balance and solid recommendations, we can pick up the work and we can start to build a new beginning for a positive agenda step by step. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we can start with questions, and since this is a report about Turkey, so first question will go to our friends from the Turkish media, Selen from Anadolu News Agency.
Peter. Ms. Raireb, in your opinion, against the background of the recent developments, what role can Turkey play in terms of Middle East peace process? Thank you.
Well, Turkey is playing an important role in almost every conflict. We see Turkey in Libya, we see Turkey in Somalia, I even see Turkey engaging with the issue of Venezuela, so how not? Turkey can play a role in the Middle East peace process. We know his position, strongly supporting the cause of the Palestinians, and we are ready to engage with Turkey and all relevant actors in the area. We are in discussion with the representative of the Muslim and Arab world, and we are also discussing, we are ready to discuss with Turkey which can be the way for political negotiation that could lead to the two-state solution, which is something that both Turkey and the European Union supports.
Thank you. Next one, Yurios from Cyprus News Agency.
Good morning, High Representative. This also goes to Mr. Varhelyi as well, if he wants to answer. Given EU-Turkey relations, how do you address the issue, the stated positions for a two-state solution in Cyprus, which is something that the EU is not accepting, as it recognizes one country that should be united? Is there any signs from the Turkish side in your contacts that this is a negotiating position, or is this something that can be really problematic in future relations with the EU? Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. You know, about Cyprus, since Turkey is pushing for the two-state solutions, let me to say that on the two-state solution and overall the Cyprus issue or position, the European Union has not changed. The European Council recalled in June 2023 that the European Union remains fully committed to a comprehensive settlement of the Cyprus problem within the United Nations framework, in accordance with the relevant United Nations Security Council resolutions, and in line with the principle of which the European Union is founded. And the European Union has called for a speedy resumption of negotiations and is ready to play an active role in supporting all stages of this United Nations-led process with all appropriated means at our disposal. And we are really ready to engage as much as needed. This is not a gift to Turkey. This serves our most important interest, which is peace and stability in the Eastern Mediterranean. But our position with respect to the Cyprus issue has not changed since it was clearly stated by the European Council in June 2023.
Commissioner, you want to add? Okay, so in that case, yes, Yurios, follow up.
Since we don't get High Commissioner on this often, I would like also if you could comment on whether it could be, how do you assess Turkey's current position on the two-state solution, whether it can be a real problem when it comes to EU relations, or whether it's a position that could lead to some discussion further down the line?
You can ask me the same question in different formats. My answer will be the same.
Thank you very much. Güldener, still NTV, Turkish television?
Yes, still over NTV I would have two questions. My first question is regarding the 18-page of report that I had the pleasure to read. I was wondering whether, with this, the way forward you announce, would EU-Turkey relation would come to statu quo ante 14 of December 2021 or not, bearing in mind that at that time there was still visa-free regime or other thing, whereas now we just discuss about visa facilitation, and it is a very big problem in the context of Turkey, as well as resuming EIB loans and this kind of issue. And my second question is, we have the feeling when we read the report that the relation will resume unless Turkey have a rather good relation with not only Greece but finds a solution to Cyprus problem, or at least have a kind of constructive approach. Is it right or wrong to feel or to have this perception? And regard immigration and the migration package, will there be also a kind of financial assistance, or the 2016 agreement will be rephrased, reframed, or what's that expectation? Thank you so much.
Can you answer the migration issue?
So let's start with the last one. As I stated, we want to continue not only the cooperation, but also our financial contribution when it comes to migration cooperation. And yes, we want to continue on the basis of the existing arrangements. This is why we have made already financial proposals to the Council as part of the MFF review. And we are ready to, again, use the same arrangements that we have in place, meaning to come forward with a 3-year agreement to continue our common work. Maybe on the visa liberalization, our cooperation in the migration area is based on the EU-Turkey statement from 2016. It is very clear from there what the conditions are for visa liberalization. It is also common understanding between Turkey and ourselves that those conditions have not been met. However, we see that the people-to-people contact and the integration of our economies are calling for an easier access for Turkish students and businessmen to the European Union, and this is why we are now proposing visa facilitation.
Thank you very much. Next one was Alexandra from the... Or you still?
Yes, I can add in a more broader approach, and I think it's important to repeat that we are living in an increasingly complex and challenging geopolitical context. That's a fact of life. It was not the case in 2021. In 2021, there was not a war in Ukraine. There were not this crisis between Israel and Palestine, just to cite the most important issues. Maybe at that time we were more focusing on what's happening in Libya. But today we are facing a complete different geopolitical context. And in this context, the European Union has to strengthen its security. And this context unavoidably has an impact on our relations with Turkey. And let me stress one thing. We are very much interested in developing a mutually beneficial partnership with Turkey. We recognize Turkey as an important neighbor, as a key partner for the European Union, not only as a candidate country, as the Commissioner has remembered, and also the fact that there are some irritants on several sectorial aspects and some key political issues, which is the case of Cyprus, certainly. But if you have a look at this communication, you have to read it in a positive manner, because we want to engage with Turkey in order to solve all irritant questions and to deal with all problems that has been for years in a kind of a stalemate, and a solution has to be reach. The approach will be phased, proportionated, and reversible, but with a clear will of improving our relationship and make an era in our relations based on looking for common solutions to common problems.
Thank you. So now we go to Alexandra from Cathy Merini.
HR Borrell, first of all, there is an intention for new talks on the customs union issue. However, with the Cyprus issue open, how could these talks evolve? And second question, I haven't heard anything in your remarks about possibility of defense cooperation between EU and Turkey. Is the fact that Turkey is not fully aligned with some key EU foreign policy issues like sanctions against Russia play any role in this, in the defense cooperation? Thank you.
Want to talk about customs union?
Should I start? On the customs union, I think that we have two tasks that we are putting forward. One is the immediate, which is to eradicate and reduce the number of trade irritants that we see every day in front of our businesses. And this work is going well. It is already yielding results. So I see no contradiction in the need to obtaining a solution on the Cyprus issue and reducing the number of trade irritants and reinforcing our trade relations. On the customs union modernization, of course, all our member states will have to be accepted and respected when it comes to customs cooperation. And of course, this is going to be also part of the discussions about the customs modernization. But I would predict that this is not the only issue which has also links to the Cyprus issue. What I would definitely like to underline is that we can do much more to improve our trade in a mutually beneficial way without compromising on the Cyprus issue.
Well, Turkey is a member of NATO, and most of the European Union member states are members of NATO. And recently, 2 more has become or will become members of NATO. So the defense cooperation between Turkey and the member states of the European Union has a good framework, which is the NATO. Yesterday we had a meeting on NATO talking about the Western Balkans, and this is a nice place to see our cooperation to develop. And it's important to say that we are doing and having a good cooperation on such issues which are very important for us, the future of the Western Balkans. Certainly, there is not a high level of alignment on our foreign policy with Turkey. And we want to organize our exchanges on foreign policy in order to be more effective and operational. It's clear that in some cases we disagree, and in other cases we have to stress the importance of our agreements. For example, Turkey and the European Union support the same position on the two-state solution and our efforts for the Middle East peace process. Together, we keep engaging as members of the anti-Daesh coalition. We are important partners in the fight against terrorism. Certainly, we disagree with Turkey on the consideration of Hamas. For us, Hamas remains a terrorist organization. It was declared like this for the European Union many years ago. Turkey has a different approach, and at the same time is something which is coherent with the position of the Muslim world. And we have said in several occasions that the solution of the situation in the Middle East cannot only be military, it has also to be political, and diplomatic, and we agree with Turkey on the need to push for the two-state solutions. So in some cases we disagree, in others we fully agree, in some cases we cooperate a lot, and in others we expect more and better cooperation, like it is the case with the circumvention of sanctions against Russia. Turkey has played an important role on this deal that has been able to allow the exports of Ukrainian grain to the rest of the world. Just for that, we have to thank the Turkey authorities. Today, this deal is no longer in place, but Ukraine has found a way of exporting its grain through a maritime corridor. But it doesn't mean that we don't recognize the important effort that Turkey has done in the past, when this corridor was not in place in order to make the world being able to receive the grain from Ukraine. So it's a complex relations. Our foreign policy alignment is very low, and we expect to increase it by continuing our foreign policy dialogues.
Very much, and we will take one last question from Integraktio. The report is published in the meantime, so you can then see it and read it. So we take question now, the last one from Thomas Gutschker from Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung.
Thanks a lot. Good morning. I have two questions. Probably Commissioner Varhelyi would be the right one to answer them. The first one is on migration. On the Eastern Mediterranean route, the numbers are going up this year. So I'm wondering whether, in your assessment, Turkey is living up to its commitments under the EU-Turkey statement in a sufficient manner, and if not, what concretely it should change. And the second question is regarding visa. We've had more than 50,000 asylum applications from Turkish citizens last year, which was the third highest number for all nationalities. So taking that into consideration, how should the or how much room does the EU have to open up its visa regime with Turkey? Thank you.
On the numbers, I don't think that the numbers are significantly higher in relation to Turkey. Yes, on the Eastern Mediterranean route we see higher numbers, but Turkey is not the source or the only source of these arrivals. What we see is that after the new government took office, there were immediate actions taken, and we have seen clear implementation of the EU-Turkey statement in that regard. So we think that the situation in relation to our cooperation to Turkey is under control. The change that we would like to trigger with our proposals is to start working in a reinforced border protection building capacity in Turkey on its eastern borders, and also the extension of our cooperation to return operations, as we are doing with our partners in the Western Balkans, or as we are doing with our partners in the southern neighborhood. Because returns are the key for showing to those arriving illegally that illegally no access can be obtained to the European Union, and that it is not going to be the smugglers who will decide who can enter the European territory. On the visa applications, yes, we see these numbers rising. This is why in our proposals we also want to reinforce the part of the EU-Turkey statement about readmissions. And we need to see Turkey taking back its own citizens who are not eligible for asylum applications. This is again something on which we're working with the new government, and I'm very hopeful that we will address this issue in short term. Thank you.